But here, on the very rim of known space, justice is a long way away.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian. Joining me, as always, is your co-host, Spaz.
Currently planning to take over the world, but only in Civ 7.
Your co-host, Julie.
All the ice isn't on the streets.
We're going to get demonetized. Also, your co-host, Thorsten.
Yo, hello. And I'm planning to do something my ancestors did.
Oh, okay.
Buddy, that's you show you that's what you're going with.
Yeah, I don't mean the direct ancestors. I know what you mean.
Let's not assume the worst here. Your co-host, Jacob.
Well, apparently I should pack my bags and start running.
No, you not you this time.
The Germans are getting uppity again.
Oh no.
No.
Let me guess, you're going to create daylight savings time again.
Oh no. Not that.
No, but like if you daylight savings is daylight savings and you undo daylight savings.
Oh, that'd be great. Can we just stick with one? Anyway, and your co-host, David.
Here's the hype for Asteroid 2032. Let's go.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say we had a good run, but I don't know if I could say that truthfully. Hello everyone. We had a run.
We had the run we deserved.
We had a run. Certainly had a run. Hello everyone. We have a topic today. I'm calling our top gaming moments because I decided we need to be a little more. I mean, we usually are pretty positive around here, but sometimes we get a little negative. But now I'm going to try and steer our topics into more positive light because of, as I gesture to everything.
Look outside. Look out the window.
Everything that's going on. So we're going to try and steer our topics in a more positive direction going forward. Can't believe I just said going forward. I'm sorry. I've been a corporate drone for too long. And today we're going to talk about our top gaming moments. And that could be just about anything. For example, I'll start with mine, and it's a reason I have TIE Fighter going on the screen. So TIE Fighter, as you all may know, is a very difficult game. It's not only dogfighting, but it's puzzle solving. And there's an optimal way to do things, and if you don't do things in a certain way, you're going to have a bad time. So my top moment was the 6th mission in the game. In this one called Destroy the Lozla, you are in an assault gunboat, and an assault gunboat is a craft made specifically for TIE Fighter. It's a slow, lumbering, shielded missile platform, basically, that basically what it does is deliver warheads well. That's all it really does well. It's not fast, it's not maneuverable, but it's durable, and it can lob a lot of missiles. So this mission was to destroy a disabled Mon Calamari cruiser called the Lozla. Lozla? I can't remember now. Hang on, I think I have it up here, actually. Lozla. Lulsla. It's a pretty good the assault gunboat is a pretty good craft in most situations, except when it's going up against A-wings. A-wings are the bane of this thing's existence, and this mission had a lot of A-wings defending this cruiser. So at one point, I'm trying to take out some of the mines that are left. I'm trying to lob some heavy missiles at the cruiser, and my shields get taken out by an A-wing. And next thing I know, I'm fighting for my goddamn life. I am bobbing, I am weaving, I am changing direction, and I have maybe 6 to 8 A-wings shooting at me at the same time. And in all of the craft in TIE Fighter, you have a thanks, Ducat. I'm sorry, I did not silence my phone. You have a indicator as to how damaged your craft is from green to brown to red. And I'm avoiding shots while checking the damage indicator to see how long it'll be until my shields come up. And I'm putting all my power to speed. I can't shoot anybody right now. I put all my power to speed to try and avoid getting hit. And I get hit every now and again, and I see my indicator changing from green to dark green to brown. And my shields eventually finally come up. So I put all the power to shields. No, I actually put all my power to cannons so I can transfer that to the shields. And slowly I pull my shields back up, and I'm still getting hit, but now I have shields. So once my shields are finally back to full strength, I finally put power back to my weapons, and I start whittling these fucking A-wings, excuse my language, whittling these A-wings down. And I finally took them all out, one by one. And I was drenched in sweat, but I survived a 1v8 battle with an assault gunboat and several A-wings, and the cruiser was taken out by my friends while I was doing that. So the mission was a success.
Because back then we had AI that actually did things.
Yeah, and the mission was designed so it wasn't just me damaging the cruiser. I was just one of many. But yeah, the mission was a success, and that was 15 to 20 minutes of the most intense gaming I've ever had. And I will never remember how just drenched in sweat I was. I was exhausted. My arm hurt from all the bobbing and weaving and changing speeds. But my God, that was probably my most exciting and terrifying moment in gaming ever. Other things have come close, which we'll get to if we go around the circle again. But that is my top gaming moment ever. I still barely can believe I survived such a heated battle in a goddamn assault gunboat, because those things are not nimble at all, but somehow I did it. So that's my example of probably my top gaming moment. Baz, do you have one?
I do. It's one I've mentioned on the show before, so forgive the rehash for
No worries.
anyone who's already heard.
I have probably forgotten it.
Well, no, you know what it is. It's related to Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. So to give some background for those who don't know,
you're in the
Rebel
game.
Galaxy Outlaw. Yeah, well, this is the reason why I'm in the game. In Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, you have a starting ship called the Platypus. It is
crap.
It's a terrible converted garbage scow.
Yeah,
with 2 guns strapped to it, and
that's it.
Initially, it was thought that nobody could beat the game while flying in the Platypus, just staying in the Platypus and not switching to any other ship. So, after having beat the game once, I decided, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. And I documented my travels through the game and completed the game using just the Platypus. And
which is
that.
Sorry to interrupt, friends.
I proved it was possible.
If you haven't played Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, that is a goddamn feat. The combat in that game is visceral and challenging, especially in a ship like that.
Yeah, and Travis initially thought that it was improbable but possible, and I was the one who proved that it could be done. So that's the reason why I have a ship named after me in the game, and I helped design the thing. So that is always going to be a top moment for me.
Yeah, we were all very proud when you finally did that, and that's one definitely deserving of accolades, because again, the dogfighting in Rebel Galaxy Outlaws is not it does not mess around. It does not mess around. It will wreck you if you are not careful and skilled.
Yes, I have applied my solution to it, which is missiles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And-
Application of lots and lots of missiles.
And the game has some great missiles.
Which is why I still find it funny how, how there's like the weird subquest with your own space station, and it gives you specialized, like special ships you can't get anywhere else. I find it funny that one of them is basically purpose-built for my appeal by just being a box with all the missiles.
Yeah. 4 launchers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can stack up.
Whereas me, you have the grain silo with a cockpit on it and some engines and 4 turrets. That's my baby right there.
You just kind of hello. I would like to pretend I'm a capital ship. I would like to pretend this is Rebel Galaxy 1.
Yes.
Yep. 3 turrets on the Beluga. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. All right. That's a great one. That is a great one. And yeah, that I do remember when you got that one. It's not that I don't believe I also finished that game, but I did not do it in the platypus. My God, I don't have that kind of patience. I should not have that kind of patience.
Well, the funny thing about that is that the game was balanced around, at least with the story missions that you have to go through in order to beat it, they were all balanced around being able to beat them in the platypus.
Oh.
That doesn't mean it was easy.
No,
it was possible.
Easy. No. Yeah.
That's smart. That's really smart. All right. Julie, you got one?
Yes, I do.
Awesome.
Back in, oh my God, it seems, how can 2004 be decades ago now?
My game is 1994, so I understand.
Back in the day when there were not a lot of MMOs out, I first started playing Ultima Online, in which anybody ever has seen it. It's like isometric, I think. And one of the first games I ever played that was, that it was like 3-dimensional thing was World of Warcraft. And this was back when it had no expansions whatsoever. There was like one land, and my first thing I ever rolled up was a dwarf, and wondering at the time, why are all dwarves Scottish? I've got ancestors that were Scottish, and so I don't recall any one of them being like a mythological dwarf person.
The answer is because one guy did it in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So, and I remember seeing the gates of Ironforge, and I said, "This is fantastic." And about that time, somebody walk up to me and say, "Hey, I belong to this group called the Older Gamers." Now, before you say, "Oh my God, you're all old farts over 80," at the time, gamers was anybody over 21, but most of us did tend to be older, and it was a. Oh, Fran says he had to be over 24. And it was a very, very large guild. Now, back then, there was, and I forget, there was an achievement if you could kill the king. And yes, the king was killable in each of the lands. Now, in the Elven lands, the king was up the top of this giant world tree and very difficult to get to. But Magni Bronzebeard was right there at ground level. And so, but you can't just march into the gates of Ironforge because it's protected by dwarves and players, polearms. But in their infinite wisdom, the developers connected the human city of I forget what it was called now. It doesn't matter. With a subway, oddly enough. So somebody said, "Hey, I know we're going to have all the warlocks in our guild. We have one of the largest guilds in the server, and we're going to sneak into Ironforge through the subway, and we're going to teleport everybody in this guild into the subway. Nobody tell anybody." And so it was great because we said, we'll surprise everybody. But true enough, while man plans, God laughs, somebody blabbed. And so we start, but this isn't the greatest moment. We start making our way through this subway, and it crosses the whole continent. And we've got this enormous guild. And the closer we get to Ironforge, we start having the humans come, because we were a horde side guild, right? And keep in mind, in World of Warcraft, I don't know how it is now, but if you were one of the human side guilds, Alliance, you could not talk to the horde. I don't know why they did that. I guess they realize humans are just naturally nasty and don't want to communicate with one another and spend their time killing each other. And interestingly enough, I belong to an Alliance side guild as well, and they said, "Oh, those horde people are all juvenile and nasty." And I said, I belong to a horde side guild. Ironically, we say the same thing about you. And so as we start to make our way through this subway, here comes like these elves, and they start dancing, and we all say to ourselves, look, there's a lot more of us than there are of you people. We're one of the biggest guilds on the server and one of the oldest guilds on the server, and we're going to kill this Magni Bronzebeard anyway. So we get all the way to the place where the subway connects to Ironforge, and by this time, we've got every human, every elf on one side ready to attack us, right? And at that point, when you get in, it's this massive PvP brawl. Hundreds of players on hundreds of players. We never reached Magni Bronzebeard. We got into the next room, and there were so many of us fighting the other players that we actually crashed the server.
Nice.
Amazing.
We crashed the server.
Amazing.
So that is we had, and we never did. Later on, we did kill, when there was another expansion, we did kill another king. We killed the Draenei king, and I even forget what the accomplishment game was, some mount or something or other, but it was just the fact that we are going to invade the dwarves. And that was my big gaming moment. I got another one, but I'll save it for later.
That's wow. The build up must have been crazy for that one.
Well, it's unfortunately like I said, someone blabbed, or we wouldn't have crashed the server. That wasn't our intent to start with, but somebody talked, and it's not like humans are going to say, "Hey, I know, let's take a stroll down the subway here." But somebody obviously let the virtual cat out of the virtual bag, and they saw us coming. But they started. But until you actually get into Ironforge, they can't do anything about it. But once you did, that was like, okay, this massive PvP brawl. So it was fun.
That's awesome. Thorsten, do you have one?
Me? What? I mean, I play video games for 50 years now. Of course I do.
I don't like assuming. I don't like assuming.
For me, it was the Golden Ones cutscene in Alien Legacy.
Was that at the end? Was that at
it was the beginning of the end game, basically. Until this time, you had only discovered new places and collected energy and all that stuff, and found those ruins, and suddenly all the game changed in this moment, and the cutscene alone was wow. I get goosebumps still when I still think about it.
And I have to admit, I never made it far in I love Alien Legacy, but I never made it far in that game, because once you get more than one colony, it's like, my brain can't handle this.
Yeah, understandable.
But it's an amazing game. It's an absolutely amazing game that, folks, if you haven't played it, it's worth tracking down a copy just to check out what they were doing in 1994, because it's a very impressive game for 1994, especially the UI. But Because not a lot of games had a really coherent UI in 1994. Let's just say. But yeah, Alien Legacy is. There's really nothing else like it, is there? Like really, just nothing else like it. So what was this?
Yeah.
So
I always.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask what this cutscene entailed.
It basically told you that the precursor race you thought was that at this point was still around, and you basically had to go to war with them.
Oh, great! Spoilers for a 31-year-old game, by the way. If you haven't played it and you're planning to, you've had 31 years. So, yeah, it's a terrific game. I wish it was available for sale somewhere, but it's like, I think one of those games that's stuck in licensing hell. Sadly.
Yeah, we really need at least a spiritual successor to this one.
Is Joe Ybarra still around? I don't remember if he's still.
I don't know, to be honest.
Still kicking. I think he is. Hang on, let me double check. I'm not sure if he is. Oh no, he's still kicking. He is still kicking. Yeah, he's still going. Good for him. He's still going. Good on him. Yeah, he made some like Bard's Tale, 7 Cities of Gold, Mule as a legacy. Yeah, that's a terrific game, folks. If you haven't played that one, seek out a copy. You know how. I'm not going to tell you. Seek out a copy. All right, Jacob, do you have one?
So top moments. Okay. I'm gonna mention a funny one, not necessarily a cool one, because
whatever. As long as it's important to you, that's what matters.
One, for variety's sake, and two, because it should be relatively short, and I might mention another one. So this one is a recent one because I have been continuing to binge Sea Power, which, if you're new here, is a sort of Cold War naval simulation game that I've been binging continuously since its release.
So friends, if you're new here, a lot of us love boats, but Jacob loves boats. He is basically the boat guy. Right?
I am the boat man and also the man that likes numbers and games for psychopaths. That's apparently my reputation here. That being said, I recall a brilliant bit of emergent storytelling that happened during a mission by complete accident from both me and the creator of said mission. That I feel like it's just it's way funnier to have been there, but I'll try my best to tell it properly. But so setup is simple. Mission was 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. The player runs a small United States blockade. It's 2 destroyers, a cruiser, and a P-3 Orion patrol aircraft, which is the most relevant to the story. Because what you're supposed to do is look through and visually identify freighters, find the ones that are communist, and shoot them. Simple. I used the P-3 Orion to identify freighters one at a time, and I found the communist ones. But the P-3 Orion does not actually have the capacity to attack surface targets, only submarines. So I decided to have it go off and do something else. However, before I did that, I dropped a sonar buoy on top of the convoy, which is essentially it's a buoy with a sonar on it that you put in the water, and I did it so it's in order to keep track of the convoy whilst I send the Orion somewhere else. However, suddenly from that sonar buoy, I get an information about a submerged contact. Okay, there is no such thing as civilian submarines in the game, and I was not informed of any American submarines operating, and it was right under a Soviet convoy, so I suspected it was communist. So I set the P3 Orion to torpedo it, which it did very successfully with 2 Mark 46 torpedoes slamming into it. And the second those torpedoes hit, like within a minute, if I recall, of those torpedoes hitting and me getting the confirmation that the submarine is sunk, I get a message. A message in game from high command from the finest of United States naval intelligence, telling me that they have a suspicion that the convoy might be escorted by a submarine.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
And I'm like, really?
Oh.
What made you think that? Was it the huge plume of water after 2 Mark 46 torpedoes hit a submarine? Because that could have given it away. Like, you could have told me that 5 minutes ago and it would have been useful. Literally 5 minutes ago. So, but yeah, what I got from that is like freaking, what was that film called? The one about the, not Red October, but like the one about the M2 Bradley, but like that level of like military satire.
Pentagon Wars.
Pentagon Wars, Wars level of satire. Just like, hello, Commander. We've heard there's submarines in your area. As as the huge plumes can be seen from the P3 Orion. Well, come on. I will tell you, your intel was accurate.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that one, it has stuck with me purely because of how infinitely funny it is and how completely accidental it was. Because of course the intent was you don't drop a sonobuoy on top of the random communist merchant ships, and later you're told, hey player, there might be submarines. You might want to like run a sweep with the P3 Orion we gave you. Apparently, I was more clever than the command, so I'll take it.
That just shows you how good you are at these things. Was this a user-made mission, or was this one of the missions?
It was a user-made mission. It was a user-made mission in a whole series about like the Cuban Missile Crisis escalating into a bigger crisis.
I hope you share that story with the folks who made the mission, because that's pretty.
I
damn cool.
need to find them.
Yeah. Or
As in, I need to find a way to contact them.
Yeah, because I think they would appreciate that. I think they would really appreciate that. That's a really good one.
It's infinitely funny.
Oh my god! All right, David, you got one for us?
Oh yeah, I do. But the funny thing is, I may have talked about this one before, but let's go back to it. So, I also have a picture for you. So I'm gonna post both the game and the link here in the chat, but probably only the Discord people will see it. So it's time for DCS. So
oh no!
So doing mid 2010s. Yeah, would you like to fly fast or slow? Do you want to be a helicopter or a plane?
Oh my god!
Yeah, go ahead and read the chart. It is fantastic.
What is this? My god! What is this?
It is pretty funny.
It is from March 2019. It is slightly outdated.
Yeah, but it's pretty accurate with those aircraft still, I'd say. So it ain't me and something in Russian Cyrillic letters, which I cannot read. So yeah, that's gonna be the hip. Yeah.
It's like, what?
So when I bought my Track IR and my HOTA setup for Elite Dangerous way back there, I also wanted to hang out with my cousin in DCS, the same cousin that I play Eurotrack with now, actually. And I'm like, oh man, I want to fly a helicopter so badly. Oh, there is one helicopter. I don't remember if the Mi-8 was the first helicopter module for DCS, but I jumped at I jumped at chance to buy it. So my cousin jumped in as well, just so we both could learn how to operate that aircraft. And it starts out fantastic. Okay, let's install this module. Okay, let's open up the manual. Remember manuals? Yeah, it's just a PDF now. So let's go take a look in it. It's in Russian. Only Russian. And there's no translation. There is a quick guide though, like here's how to fire your weapons or something like that. Like, yeah, how do I turn on the helicopter? So so it was,
figure it out like Comrades pilots did in 1971.
yeah, something like that. So it has been quite a journey just to get this thing flying. Now, of course, if you look at the Steam page for the game, the second air quotes trailer is actually just a tutorial how to start up the helicopter. So you have it there. But man, there are some things that I've learned about this helicopter. Well, and helicopters in general, just by flying this piece of hunk of metal or whatever. It is a freaking disgusting helicopter. It looks so freaking weird or whatever. It's like a weird cylinder, okay? But it is the grandfather for MI-24, so there's that. So when I flew around, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna set down this helicopter just like in the movies. And I go straight down, something like that, and go into a hover, and then start to lower down into the ground, and then suddenly I just crash. I have no idea what is going on. My cousin is like, oh, but you're just flying too fast. No, I'm not flying too fast. I'm not dropping too fast. What is happening? So actually I did some research and figured out that this is actually a thing that is called VRS, Vortex Ring State. And this helicopter is very susceptible to it. Basically, I learned a lot about helicopters, how it works, thanks to this module. So the rotor on top of the helicopter is actually pushing away oxygenable air around it. And if you fall into this downwash, you fall into a vacuum, basically. So I have seen a bunch of funny YouTube videos of helicopters crashing due to this and stuff like, oh man, I know exactly what happened there. This is horrible. So now I realize that, yeah, I do not want to be a helicopter pilot. And this also has explained to me how the KA-52 works with its two rotors, because they go in the opposite direction, which not only increases stability, but yeah, it completely negates that downwash problem that the Mi-8 has. So if you go down more than 3 meters per second or something like that, you end up in the downwash. There's no warning systems or anything. You just notice that, oh no, I'm going down, and then you're dead.
No, there are warning systems in more modern helicopters. You're flying.
Oh, yeah.
You're flying us. Your helicopter was top of the line in the year of our Lord, like 1968? 1961, sorry. 1961.
Emphasis on modern helicopters.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it has been quite the thing to learn how to fly this helicopter and, well, learn more stuff about real helicopters in real life. So, very cool when I finally figured out how to cold start the entire damn thing and then shut it off as well. Because that took some effort to shut it down. Like, oh yeah, there's a tutorial how to turn on the helicopter. How do you shut it off? Do I do it in reverse or something like that? So yeah, it was really interesting to figure out finally, like, okay, yeah, I know how to aim my rockets there. I know how to land in a straight line. I know that I should not go straight down like this. I need to have a forward momentum, so I always push around some oxygen around the helicopter so I have something to grip onto. Very cool. And yeah, it is for learning, I suppose, but it's not a pilot sim. I tell you that much.
No, that's a friend of mine defined sims as pilot sims or plane sims, and those are definitely plane sims. By the way, this chart is fucking hysterical.
Oh yeah.
I've been silently laughing this whole time, listening to you and going through this chart.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good. Like Modern Air Comet coming autumn 2035. It has been delayed and delayed and delayed. Oh man, so some stuff is still relevant there. So yeah, there we have it.
I like how it's. I think my favorite is, do you want Hoggett to mock you? And it's like, what's Hoggett? And then it points to X-Plane 11. I think that's I think that's really funny. If you don't know what we're talking about, folks, don't worry about it. just don't. That is
Airplanes.
That is a deep, deep, deep joke. Don't worry about that one. All right, so so I have a second one that we can keep going with. I've probably mentioned this one before, but it's from the game Starflight. Spoilers for a 39-year-old game because it came out in 1986. So your whole goal in Starflight is to find out why these suns are going nova. And to do that, you have to go around all these planets and collect clues as to not only the identity of the people who are making these suns go nova, but also, oh, David, that's on GOG also, if you want to post that.
Oh, all right. I'll go ahead.
Thank you. So you got to find out who's making these suns go nova, and but you also need to make money in order to buy better weapons and fuel. And there's this fuel called Endorium, and so you usually have to go back to base. There's only one base. You got to go back to buy more fuel, or sometimes you'll find it here and there. But fuel is a very precious commodity. And as you're going around the game, you hear, little snippets of these beings called the Ancients. Don't know who they are, but they're apparently very important one time. And eventually, when you find Old Earth, you find out two things. One, well, you find out a lot of things, but one thing I'll always remember is that, hey, cancer was cured in like 3142. They finally cured cancer 1,000+ years from now.
To which everyone qualified with medicine asks, which one?
True. But second, you find out...
Some of these we've cured already. The others are a bit more persistent.
Right. But second, you find out through a log, and it's such a well-written log that it didn't dawn on me at first. You find out that the Ancients are actually Endurium. So this whole time, you've been burning sentient beings for fuel. And you didn't know they were sentient because, like, in our dimension, in our universe, they're a little bit different. They're time, space, whatever. So, but you're still killing them. And even once you learn that, you still have to burn Endurium to eventually win the game by blowing up a whole planet that's made of crystal. You need a specific
Play
bomb.
the game.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. It is a huge game. It'll take you dozens of hours to finish, unless you use a walkthrough. It's worth it. Like, it's an astounding game. I would suggest the Sega Genesis version. I think that's the best version. But yeah, when I read that log, I had to read it like 2 or 3 times. And I was 13 years old. And I was like, what the fuck did I just read? So yeah, not only do you find out you've been burning these guys, these sentient beings for fuel, you have to keep doing it a while longer in order to save the galaxy. It is just one of the biggest twists I've in all my years of gaming. Nothing has topped it in terms of like a twist. Nothing has topped it for me. So that is my second top moment in gaming, is learning that I've been killing these Ancients and I have to keep doing so for the greater good. The greater good. So that was a hell of a slap in the face for a 13-year-old, let me tell you. So that is my second top gaming moment. Spaz, do you have a second one?
Oh yeah. Mine relates to not one game, but a trilogy.
Okay.
So it's not a moment specifically, but it's the feeling of when the game opens up. And what I mean by that is, how should I explain this? The Mass Effect trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Explain.
When you get to the Citadel for the first time and you see how vast it is, and as you go through the trilogy, more areas of the Citadel open up to you to visit. And you get the feeling of how epic and large this city in space is. That, for me, is one of those things I will never forget. Not exactly a moment, but
no, I get it. I get it.
Entire ambiance around this one location that just gets bigger and bigger as the series goes on.
I mean, I very vividly remember the first time I encountered the Citadel through my playthrough. It was in Mass Effect 2, and I was also awestruck by just how huge and impressive this thing was. I'm glad they gave us a final ending at the place. You know, I'm glad,
Citadel DLC for Mass Effect 3 is what a lot of us consider the quote unquote canon ending for us. Because
because it's the better.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. It's. We won't spoil it. You guys should play. If you haven't played the, if you have not played the Mass Effect trilogy, go do so. It's great storytelling, great shooting, great RPG. You will laugh, you will cry, you will fuck some aliens.
Optional.
Yeah, true, optional, but you're gonna. I mean,
don't get too attached to Commander Shepard.
Don't get too attached to anyone. Let's just say, don't get too attached to anyone.
I'd say don't get too attached to anyone unless you are following a guide, because if you know how to keep your squaddies alive, then most of them will make it out okay.
Right, but we'll
just leave it at that.
There are a few that won't.
I remember playing.
That's why I say most.
I remember playing through it and screaming at the screen, "You did what?"
Yeah,
and rage quitting.
Oh, I can't blame you. I think the only way I survived for the most part is because of Spaz. You helped me. You helped guide me through.
I was your guide.
Yeah, you basically were my guide. Absolutely. How was that? Good one. Very good one. Thorsten, do you have a second one?
Julie first.
Skip me? Hey!
Sorry, Julie.
Yeah.
Sorry. My brain is fried. I apologize. Julie, do you have a second one?
Yes, I do. Thank you for asking. And thank you, Thorsten. Great big huge spoiler alert for X4 Foundations. So, X4 Foundations, great big huge sandbox, outer space, X4 kind of, however I classified everybody. Somebody will tell me somewhere I'm wrong. But basically think of it as like an outer space trading game, war game. And there is a particular faction of AI race, and if you've ever seen the original Westworld movie, there was this ad that says nothing can possibly go wrong, and in Xenon, I pronounce it Xenon, on the periodic tables, but I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not. But originally they were meant for terraforming, and as we all know, nothing can possibly go wrong with AI, and they became a hostile NPC faction, and you can't, without, there are mods, there are cheats to befriend them, but if you play what's called the Yaki, Y-A-K-I, I guess, plotline, there is a way for you to convince them to attack the Terrans. And at first somebody might say, what do you want to attack the Terrans for? And so you play this game and you settle in this new space station and somebody comes along and says, hey, this is ours. And they say, the hell you say? And I learned to hate humans really fast. And so once I got to this part of the plot line, I convinced the Xenon to invade Terran space and wipe out everybody. And at that point, I figure I've won the game.
Damn. I've never gotten that far in that game. So I don't mind the spoiler though. I probably will never get that far in that game. Sadly.
That's the only time I finished it. Other times I've played it and stopped, played it and stopped. But at that point, I played it through enough to wipe out every human in it from existence. It was marvelous to watch all the little, xenon and all the blips and all the radars, and said, "You bastards have it coming."
All right, now Thorsten. Sorry about that, Julie. Now Thorsten, do you have one?
No, of course not. Of course I do. Man, I could do this show alone. I guess everyone here could do this show alone.
It wouldn't be anywhere near as much fun then.
Yeah. For me, it's Half-Life. The end of the first level. Go back in time. The first person shooters back then, stupid enemies, Doom, and all that stuff. And then you come to the end of the first level of Half-Life. Well, that's the point when the US Army intervenes. I thought it would be a pretty easy thing. Suddenly, these guys shoot at me with grenade launchers and shoot at me with automatic weapons, and they seek cover. That was totally new for me at this point. They simply seek cover. I had nowhere to shoot at. Nowhere. There was nothing. Okay, in a later replay, I found out it was me just being stupid and too slow. But the first time, it shocked me. It really shocked me because that never happened in any shooter I've played before. Never. Today it's pretty standard, but back then it was new.
I'm gonna be honest. I never made it that far because of the face huggery things. I noped out as soon as they appeared. Nope.
Do not want.
I am done. But I know a lot of people love Half-Life, and yeah, apparently it broke a lot of ground back in the day for a story-based first-person shooters. I'll just never, ever play it.
The first time I played Half-Life, I played it through, and it came in the orange box. Thank God Half-Life came with Portal. I played this thing, and everybody's told me, why didn't you just try and Google it? Oh, why didn't I think of that? And I've talked to a lot of people since then, but there is this place where you're in a flooded basement, and it's electrified, and I could never get past there. And to this day, my character is still stuck in that basement full of water.
Well, this is your life now.
This is my life now, in this basement full of water.
Jacob, do you have a second one?
Certainly. I've had to actually do a bit of research to make sure I remember, because this one, on the other hand, is old. Like proper old. Like when I first played Free Space 2 old.
Is this Free Space 2?
Yes, it is Free Space 2.
Okay.
Because I have to bring up the scene that has probably shaped my perception of space combat forever. The innocently named mission, The Great Hunt, from Free Space 2.
Oh my God,
is I believe the second mission or the third mission in the Gamma Draconis Nebula. So it's in the big soup where you can't see anything and you're relying mostly on sensors. Yeah. Things are going absolutely wonderfully. You finish a mission by blowing up a Shivan, like the enemy aliens, a Shivan cruiser, and you're happy and you're celebrating. And suddenly you have a list of like capital ships. Suddenly you see unknown appear on that list in red. And then a couple seconds later, you see one of your friendly capital ships disappear in a hail of particle cannon.
Yeah.
And you are given the immediate order to start running.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the surprise of absolutely, which is interesting because for the whole campaign you have had to face pretty insane odds, and still not be given the order to retreat, and then suddenly command goes, "We cannot beat this thing. Run."
Yeah, I do remember that. That was absolutely
Yes. The warship in question was in fact, and yes, the warship in question is in fact the Shivan destroyer Ravana, which is the biggest, most fuck off thing you faced in both games at that point.
Yeah. That game, those games knew scale. Those games knew scale, and they knew how to use it. My God.
That thing is imprinted in my head still. And the funny thing is, I've replayed that mission in Free Space Open. Yeah, no, the effect is still, even when you know it's coming, it's still terrifying.
Oh God, yeah. No, I played.
You just see this like 2 kilometers of black and crimson death machine appear from thin void, vaporize your support ships, and start picking apart your squad mates.
Oh, if I can piggyback off this for a second, since we're almost out of time, I'll just share my last one real quick. It was also from
Space?
No. We're going to get to David. I just want to say mine real quick since we're talking about Free Space 2. Because my last one was also going to be Free Space 2, but mine is the ever famous dive, hit your burners pilot moment.
Because what happens is, you expect that you click the mission start button and you'll see a loading screen like you did every time beforehand.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you are being yelled at by your commanding officer, and there is a humongous cruiser on a collision course with your tiny little fighter.
Yeah, you have seconds, like 1 second to react, and all you hear
to not get turned into roadkill.
Yeah, you hear this guy screaming in your headphones, and the next thing you know, you are afterburning the hell out of them. Oh my God. You're looking at your rear display as you're like diving and burning.
And you realize, an entire Shivan cruiser just sort of sailed past you.
Yeah, by feet, by mere feet. It's like, jeez, by mere meters. Yeah, just, oh my God. That was going to be mine. That's why I wanted to piggyback of yours. David, why don't you wrap us up?
Dang it.
What?
That was a fantastic pick by Shogun.
Oh, yeah.
Here, but something completely blowing your mind.
To interrupt, by the way, real quick, folks, if you haven't played Free Space 2, I don't know why you're listening to this if you haven't played Free Space 2. If you haven't played Free Space 2, it has one of the best stories in, I think, all of gaming. And it's littered with amazing moments like that. So if you haven't played Free Space 2...
also has the best community support I've seen of a game like this so far.
Holy moly.
Through the Knossos launcher, which basically makes the game playable on anything with anything. Because, again, the developers just released the entire source code of the game and told the players to go nuts, and they did. They've been going nuts for 20 plus years. That's a lot of nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Just, if you haven't played Free Space 2, get it on GOG, get the launcher, and you can thank us later after you've played both Free Space 1 and 2 in the new engine, and then play all the mods. That just go get it. Anyway, David, please, I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. David, please, back to you.
All right. So I'm incredibly torn here with the limited amount of time. What I should spoil? Should I spoil Mass Effect 1 or Homeward Cataclysm?
Oof. Well, since we already talked some Mass Effect, why don't you do Homeworld if you don't mind me saying.
All right, because it happens pretty early in the game. And, well, let's just say that I never thought the strategy game could become a horror game. That is kind of interesting.
The developers heard you said that and took that as a challenge.
All right. You hear that, game industry? Do it. So, yeah, let me talk about the beast in Homeward Cataclysm. The game starts out with, I think, the 3-star first missions with you just supporting the larger fleet and like, yeah, okay, you're just a freaking dirty miner. We don't care about you. Just do your thing to help out with the war effort. Oh, what's this ancient technology thing here? We should probably take that in and analyze it. and you tell your superiors, "Hey, we found this weird alien artifact thing. Maybe we should send it to a properly equipped science facility." No, you'll do it. They're gonna pick you for
Always.
doing that.
Always a good idea if you find a suspicious alien thingamabob to investigate it in your own local little ship lab. Nothing bad has ever come of that.
Yeah. So, also to preface, when I played a Homeworld Cataclysm, I had not seen. Yeah, it's kind of incredible, but I hadn't seen that movie or those movies. I had not seen any of the Alien movies. I didn't see any of Star Trek before that, so I had nothing to compare with, like Xenomorphs or Borg in that moment. So that was completely new to me, especially when you're not allowed to see what actually exactly happens. But basically, what happens is that the beast is basically some kind of well, we had AI talks before here with the Xeon. So imagine small techno-organic robots, like infiltrating the entire ship and combining all the crew into a giant organism, but still keeps the crew alive in order to read their brains to figure out how to pilot the entire ship, leaving the crew still awake when that is going on, when they're facing their previous friends screaming in agony. Yeah, so that is something that, like, oh yeah, that cutscene, that has happened. What do we do now? When the lower half of your ship is ejected due to this infection breaking out, like, oh no, this is bad. What is this? And the whole game is just dedicated to figuring out how the thing works, what you can do to fight it, and
things keep getting worse.
Yeah,
and things keep getting worse.
Get worse. Yeah, absolutely.
And I personally think that was exactly what freaking Homeworld needed, in my opinion. That just give us something out there, crazy ideas or whatever, instead of just going on with the Titan or whatever that they had in the first game. It's kind of like with Half-Life we mentioned here. I mean, Half-Life 2 is pretty different from the first one. I've heard lots of people say, especially when they get the gravity gun and stuff, lots of more physical objects to mess around with. So yeah, that will scar me for life, hearing all those crew screams and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there's one of the reasons Cataclysm is my favorite of the Homeworld games. Absolutely love that one. All right, a lot of good picks today, everybody. A lot of good picks. Have
we missed anyone?
No, I think we got everyone, didn't we? I think everyone went twice, right?
Anyone who feels missed, raise your hand.
I think I went kind of three times because I piggybacked off your Free Space 2 reference. But I
look, it's really good.
I'm allowing that one. Yeah, it's, folks, if you haven't played Free Space 2, what are you doing? Listen to this podcast. Go do it right now. But I think
it's like a $5 on Steam.
Yeah, or the GOGs. I think I've heard that the GOG version is recommended for use with Gnosis. So
yeah, I don't remember. I don't know actually. I mean, I use the GOG one.
Yeah. I would recommend the GOG one, folks, but that goes on sale pretty regularly also. That's going to do it for today, folks. Next week on the show, we're going to talk about the most satisfying games we got good at. Kind of a weird topic, I know, but I'm trying to think of positive things. We're going to talk about games that we invested time and effort into, and we got good at them, and the ones that were the most satisfying to get good at, if that makes sense. So I think that'll be a fun topic. And tomorrow we should be back with more Euro Truck Sim. So, friends, Thorsten, Jesus Christ.
I have to do it.
No, you don't.
I have to do it. You
folks,
don't do it. I do it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for listening, folks. Great chat today, by the way. So have a great day, everyone. Be safe, be well, take care of each other. Please get vaccinated. Excuse me. Please get vaccinated if you haven't already while you can, before whatever far right government prevents you from doing so. Thank you as always to our patrons. for helping to pay for things like Restream, which is pretty expensive. And don't forget to wear your helmet. We'll see you back here tomorrow with more Euro Truck Sim, folks. Have a